back at you with another video from 80s and Up. Hello everyone. Today I got something for you that's a little bit different. This video is of the Akai X1810D reel-to-reel player and how I ended up with this remarkable unit. The unit is amazing, but how I ended up with it, if I had to sum it up and put it together with one word, it would be ambivalence. Truly a bitter happiness. Let's start from the beginning, and that would be sometime in the 1970s. My dad's friend was stationed in Japan, and he wanted to purchase and bring back to the States some stereo components, some stereo equipment. This unit, some Sensui speakers, and Sensui receiver, and an amplifier. Anyway, years go by, and my dad is now working at Lockheed. In fact, he's long retired from Lockheed. And his friend was actually working with him at the same time at Lockheed also. At some point, my dad mentions to him that my birthday's coming up and that he has to get me a gift. And his friend says, you know what you really need to give him is I have some stereo equipment that I never used that is still brand new from when I was stationed in Japan, and it's in my garage attic. Anyway, my dad ended up going to his house without ever telling me whatsoever, and the day of my birthday, he said, "Oh, well, I forgot to get you a gift," and he was joking around, and my mom said, "Stop messing around. Why don't you go show him what you got? Show him what you got." Prior to that, my mom kept telling me that I'm going to be so surprised with the gift that my dad got. Anyway, I ended up going into the family room, and they had this huge military container, wooden container, that would be what they used to ship things in. And I said, "What is this?" I had absolutely no idea what was inside that. But we ended up opening it up, and it was possibly one of the biggest surprises that I've had, and it was all of the stereo equipment pieces were still brand new. And when I mean brand new, I mean they were as if you went back in time and purchased them from Japan, and I was opening them up for the first time. Many of the boxes, a couple of them were open, but never actually were removed from the boxes. I cannot tell you how excited I was looking at that. I truly felt like a young kid again with Christmas, and I was receiving my first Team Murray BMX bike, or years later the Red Line. Anyway, I ended up taking the unit out of the box, and I just could not believe that they sat for all of these years without any damage or ever coming out of the boxes, and they were all still pristine. The most amazing part is that the boxes were also in perfect, pristine condition. There was no mildew, there was no smell of mildew, there was no wear, no stains on the boxes. Everything was truly new as it was. I told you it was a bitter happiness because when I got the units out, my dad said that, "Hey, I got to tell you, none of these are mine, and Bob wanted you to have these." Well, I told him let's call Bob. I gotta thank him, and we called him, and there was no answer. We called a number of times during the party, and after the party I called him, and it wasn't until the next day I called and tried again, and finally called my dad, and I said, hey, I can't get a hold of him. He said, I've been trying to get a hold of him too. So the next day, told my dad and said, what, let's go over there. The drive is actually about 45 minutes to an hour to his house, and we both ended up driving out there. When we got there, the first thing we noticed as we drove up the dirt road was that his big red truck was there, and I said, okay, well, he's home, and we saw the wife's car parked in the driveway. I got out. We both walked up, started ringing the doorbell, and there was no answer at the doorbell at all, from the doorbell. And my dad said he's going to check out the barn. He went to the barn, opened up the barn door, and went inside and yelled out his name. And he wasn't there. There's nobody responding. So it was really strange. I went around the backyard, checked out the backyard, and they were nowhere in sight. So we did the only thing we can think of, which was go to the police. And we went to the police department, and the officer there asked us if he can help us with anything. And I said, okay, well, we're looking for a friend of ours. This is his name. He said, okay, well, can you give me the address? And he said he'll be right back. He walked off, and about 10-12 minutes go by, and a female officer comes out, and she says, hello, so you guys are inquiring about this person? And we said yes. And she said, and you are family, friends? And said, friends, close friends. She said, okay, well, I have some really bad news. Your friend was killed by a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So, I mean, when we heard that, I think we were both stunned, but my dad pretty much fell apart, and I got to tell you, it destroyed me at the moment, because I kept thinking to myself, I didn't get to thank him and let him know how happy I was with the units, and how thankful I was that he gave the units to my dad for my birthday. And till this day, I don't know if he gave the units to my dad as a gift, knowing that he was going to do what he did, or if it was a coincidence. And deep down inside, I truly think that he had this planned out, and that's why he gave my dad the stereo equipment. I think it's extremely difficult. It's hard to try to fathom what a person goes through by themselves, or sometimes people go through depression without showing it whatsoever. I mean, not once did this person ever show my dad, or as his wife said, any type of sadness or depression, or whatever he was going through on the inside. He didn't show this to anyone. So he was a very, very strong man that was always smiling and happy. I know that she said that he felt like he didn't have much to do after he retired, and once he brought up the subject that, hey, everything is done around the house. The classic car is restored. The barn's painted, and she said, oh, well, you'll find something to do. You always do. But she never once thought of what it was that he might have been alluding to. She thought that, okay, well, maybe he's bored, and he's just saying that. But she never once imagined that he would have some type of suicidal tendencies, or something of that nature. But like I said, it is extremely difficult to find out no matter how close you are, my dad thought that he was so close to him that somehow he would have disclosed this, but he didn't. He kept that bottled inside, and obviously something caused him to do what he did. I truly hope that he's resting in a better place, um, and I'm thankful and grateful for the stereo components that he gave me, and will always cherish them. Until next time, 80s Nut out.